sorry. I spaced out and forgot that I had started the live. Hold on. I'm a mess tonight. I can't find my glasses. At least I know where the dog is. Good evening. Hi. How's everybody doing? Thank you for hitting the heart buttons. Yes, if you hit the hearts and share, it'll alert everybody that we are alive. Although, we'll see what condition I am once we get started. Hold on, I'm just getting my act together. It's been a really long day. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. I need all the hats I can get. Tomorrow is going to be the very worst day of my life, so I'm trying to keep busy with things that I love because I've sort of been sitting up crying all night for the last several days. I have to go say goodbye to my brother tomorrow, and I'm not mature enough to do that. I can't believe it's happening. Anyway, I wanted to talk about the case. My Grandpa Munster wings. I wanted to talk a little bit about the case that I shared with you, or the video I shared with you last night, but I want to give everybody a chance to pop in because it takes them a minute, so we won't have to go over it twice. Hi, everybody. Thank you. Yeah, this is, I don't want to go. And his wife said, you have to. You have to go. You have to say goodbye. I'm just like, my dad said, I can't. And I said, I will go on behalf of the family. But you know how that is. It's like everything, I hear a song on a television show, and it's songs my brother and I used to sing, or a song my mother used to sing to us while we made fun of her in the backseat of the car. So it's just, thank you. Yeah, this is probably the most brutal thing I have ever had to do, and I'm not equipped for it. It's giving me chest pain, so let's hope I don't have a heart attack. Thank you. It's okay. It's going to be okay, right? Like, I'm not the only one that has gone through this. Yes, it's grossly unfair. Anyway, I really don't want to do it. I just don't want to go. I'm afraid. That's the truth. I'm afraid. I'm afraid of falling apart, and I'm afraid of not being able to handle it and not being as graceful in that experience as that I envision I will be able to be, but I don't have a choice. And he's going to pass, and that's what I'm faced with dealing with right now. Also, I'm really gobsmacked by the number of trolls that are coming for me, and I don't know what the problem is, because I'm not trying to be antagonistic with these posts. It makes people really mad. So it's okay to be afraid, because I am really scared. I'm scared of the finality of it, and I'm scared of, I'm scared that it's real and it's happening, and that somebody you love so much could be so freaking sick. Anyway, I've had to say too many goodbyes in the last year. So let's move on to something that's a little more interesting. First, I want to say this. Hi, thank you. I'm human, not according to everybody on social media. Somebody literally messaged me that they just despise me and that I don't know anything and I should get off of social media. Like, who are you? Do I know you? What is the problem? There's a lot of anger out there, but I'm not quite sure how we end up so angry over dog content. So let me just say this. They're very strange. I don't know what the anger is about. Oh, I'm accused of having a huge ego. Have you met me? It's a bizarre, I'm a lot of things, but that's not one of them. I want to just put out, I blocked, I did. I should have screenshotted it first and blasted them because that's the easier way to go about it. If not for me, for the next person they try to antagonize or go after. So first I want to say something, and they have the issues. I don't know. They seem to be pretty upset with me. I live in a country filled with anger. Well, yes. Thank you. That's so kind of you to say that. I appreciate it. And, I had several consultations today, and each one was like either somebody who has worked with me before and coming back, or somebody who said, I feel like I know you because I've watched you for so long on social media, and this just feels really safe and where I want to be. Yes. I actually have one of the dogs in my dog trainer university program trained her cat with the protocols I taught her for the dog, which is so super cool because it was just as effective. I'm going to say these words, and many of you will not hear them, but I'm begging you to try. When I said, let's play a little game, and I shared the video with you, the intention was not to trick you. And it was not, hi, Savannah, how are you? Also, just because this makes me well up with pride, there were 4 people across both social media platforms and the hundreds of comments that were there that came very close to getting the bullet points I was trying to show you. And they all were either in my dog training program or in the case studies program. So that tells you kind of like how the way we look at stuff, how you start going in a little bit deeper and you start to see things differently. And for me, I just think that's so great. We need as many people as possible being more thoughtful in the way they look at dog behavior. That is a dog attack. I know. Okay. And I'm going to get to it. I'm not trying to like hold out but here's the reason that I want to say this is, in that video, none of you were wrong. None of you were wrong. Dogs are amazing. Totally agree. Hi, how are you? And everything that we do here, there is no pass fail. My only goal is to add to the way you might look at a whole picture. And what was very interesting to me to find was that there were so many comments about, well, her hand isn't in the right place, or the dog is fat. Ooh, I'm going to get my live shut down. Or the dog is FAT, or too heavy, or this was repeated many times. The dog is manipulating the human for food. And I don't believe there's anything lacking in what you do, Lauren. I think you just may not have been exposed to as many dog situations as I have. I don't think that's true at all, but that's why we talk about them. So one of my clients who has also joined the case studies guessed everything. And I messaged them and said, that was amazing. You got all of that. She's like, I remember you talking about this thing in one of our lessons, and it clicked back to this, to this, to this, and it just brought me there, which I think is incredible. But there's nothing that anybody said that was wrong, but some really obvious things, or what I see. This is my vision. What I see, nobody noticed. And that was surprising to me. So I'm going to share that with you. I would love to just give you a tiny bit of backstory. It's not going to be long and extensive, but I'm just going to give you a little bit of an intro because I think it will give some clarity, the guided hints. This dog has worked with me on and off for years. I'm in New York, they're in Texas. They came to me first, I want to say 3.5 years ago for on the edge of your seat. Well, I hope I don't disappoint you. It may not be all that exciting, but I do want you to go back and look. So she originally was brought to me for reactivity, and she did super well, and we parted ways and we finished our work. And then they got pregnant and came back because they wanted to make sure that they were being, hi Gail, being responsible about integrating the new baby in the house and making sure the dog was comfortable. And also the dog, she had reactivity, but part of the bigger issue was a little bit of stranger danger, very skittish around new people, not liking being approached or touched or any of that by strangers. Fair, did beautifully through all of that work. They get pregnant. We did a lot of baby prep, which I do all the time. It's become something that I do frequently. They have the baby and everything seems to be going well. I don't know how old the child is now, maybe almost a year, something like that, 8, 9, 12 months. And they reached out to me. The mom reached out to me and said, I really want to pop in for a conversation. Sounds good. No problem. Thank you. The Lunatic Fan Club. And she said, I'm going to send you some videos. I want you to take a look at it. And I looked at it. And the first thing I thought was pain. I don't like the way she's moving. Her gait is off. She's shifting onto 3 legs. One keeps kind of like, who is the person? Very good question, Casey. I'm going to get to that. Yes, it was. That was a major cue, as a matter of fact, clue. So both husband and wife participate in everything. They're both very devoted pet parents. But after the baby was born, she showed me these videos and I said that I really need a full medical workup on her. And they love her so much. They do everything. They took her, they got her x-rayed. You know that often when you take your dog to the vet for pain, you get a very loose leg up and down in the hip sockets. I went through this with Jude. I've been through it a bunch of times. That's not thorough enough. And so I wanted x-rays. We got x-rays. It didn't show anything significant. She's on GABA for pain just because you can tell she's painful. You all saw it. Like she's painful. Something is up. She's also 9 years old. So she's a senior. And but the real reason they came back to me was that she was depressed. And since the baby came into the home, her joie de vivre really diminished. So at first they thought it was pain. Hi, Melanie. Thank you for the follow. At first they thought it was pain, which is why we went so far out of our way to do the diagnostics on the medical end. But the state of mind continued. And for the last 3 or 4 weeks, we have just been trying to get the dog to participate in just, will you walk with me? Will you take food from my hand? And so we got a platform and we got a pivot ball and we were going to try to do some things that would strengthen her anatomical framework, because I noticed that because of the hind end, you guys should always look for this. No, that she gained weight because she was feeding her treats that were 30 calories each. That has also been cut out. We have addressed that. But when the dogs have hind end pain, like Luke has, his entire muscular area back here around his ribs is in a grip because I know he has hind end pain. But then you get the weight shifting forward and the head starts to drop. And so the exercises 9 years old, she's 9. The exercises in that video were not healing work. So a lot of people are like, the mother's hand isn't in the right position, or she's not being clear with her marker words. No, she absolutely isn't. So point number 1, you always send me things that I've never seen before. That was amazing. Thank you. It actually looks better than what I look like in real life right now. My goal, I know that was really funny. I've never seen that one before. I must be leveling up in my live. What emojis can we send you? My goal in that exercise was to begin to reposition her neck to not be here and bring it here. And the easiest way to facilitate that is to start to build the muscles, to do a flexion and extension exercises in the neck so that the muscles start to respond. It took me 2 years to get Jude to lift his head, but his head was like a cinder block, so it took a little bit longer than it would a normal dog. But that's what that exercise was about. So I just want to mention that you weren't wrong. Her hand position wasn't right. She was very confusing with her markers. It was too late. It was too fast. It wasn't timed at the right time, whatever it was. But when you're working with pet parents, these are not professional dog trainers. And you cannot run the risk of beating them into the ground with all the things that they're doing wrong, because then they lose confidence. And it's super important to choose the things that you want to refine or define to get to where you want to be. So for me, I asked repeatedly, please don't say yes 15 times. If she forgot and she said yes, okay, I'm going to overlook that because I'm seeing something else go on with the dog, right? So that, for me, the mother, let me back up. So we started trying to get the dog to walk across a Kato board and then add a pivot bowl at the back. Because when we used the pivot bowl, she absolutely walked away. We could not even get her to stay in the room. There was no interest or desire. She was shut down instantly at the introduction of anything new. The only thing that she would participate in and enjoyed was the chase. So treat chasing was incorporated in, yes, so treat chasing was incorporated into the exercise just to keep her mind bright. But also, you saw the room that they were working in. There were a lot of chokeholds in that room. So where the mother ended up facing was right in front of a wall of exercise equipment. So there was all of this stuff. There was no place for the dog to move there. And then you saw that the baby's playpen was taking up the entirety of the space. So the very beginning of the clip, here's what happens. Let me demo. You all notice the dog's gaze constantly fixating on the floor. Bravo, brava, very good. What you didn't, most of you did not see. When I asked, I said, what happened just before the dog began fixating? What nobody noticed, except for the mother's hand positions, were what her feet were doing. And this is exactly what happened. And you will go back and look at it when you're not with me, and you're going to see it like, oh my God, how did I miss it? So the mother's standing here, and hand position supposed to be here, but I don't remember exactly, maybe a little bit here, it doesn't matter. Dog comes into the space to get the food, and the mother, because I was trying to encourage her to get the head up and just take a little step. Just initiate movement, right? The mother goes step, step. I'm trying to stay in frame. Step, step. That's fine. The dog's head stays up. And then the mother's feet go. At which point, it is clear as day. And you will see it when you go back and look. The dog went. So that began. None of you noticed that, which I was really surprised, because to me it was like, oh my goodness, what just happened? I went back and I watched it 15 times. Step, step, shuffle, shuffle. And that movement or reverb in the floor or erratic something in the environment, the dog immediately went, looked to the floor, and we never got her back, okay? We broke it up a little bit with the treat chasing, but that was the initial... That's Savannah. That's what I was trying to clue you into. Look at. I don't know about anyone else. You were only focused on what the dog was doing. That's what everybody was doing. And the main events in that video were not what the dog was doing. It was what was happening around her. It's on my page. It's from yesterday. The title shot, the hero shot on the video is a woman standing with the dog next to her. So the woman goes, step, step, dog is eating, no problem. Step, 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 and the dog, like that. And from that point forward, she was fixated on the ground, which was not normal, right? Okay, that's why the whole picture is important, exactly. As a matter of fact, I'm just going to throw this in right now. One of the this person is in went through my dog training university program and is also in the case studies program. And she said something about the shuffles, and I privately messaged her because I didn't want to ruin it for everyone else. And I said, that was great. You noticed all the things I was looking for. And she said, I never would have seen that a year ago. Never would have seen it a year ago. So it really, it's training your mind to stop. This is what I think is so interesting. You're going to have another chance. I mean, I'm going to start doing this with you. I'll show you clips and we can talk about it. So it's not like I'm right, you're wrong, or you guys don't get it and you're not smart. It's not that. I want to start to shine a light or give you lenses to look through that don't feel like all the nonsense you see on social media, because that's not it. Unless it's a performance or a sport dog that you're trying to get them to do some specific task-oriented situation, this is emotional, okay? So here, why did shuffling make? Because it was an abnormal shift in the environment, and it was just enough to make her like concerned about what happened. Okay, so she now is fixated on the floor. The mother, I'm just going to say also, you saw this dog in one of my videos last week. They are working outside on leash. The husband is in the background filming. He's sitting in a chair and a little dog is coming down the street and the husband goes, uh-oh, watch out, because the dog's reactive. Dog never reacted. Oh, I know they matter in the sports world, but I'm just saying the flashy video, the content that you see for all of that stuff, it draws people to like, it's got to be perfect. The positions have to be perfect. The cues have to be perfect. If you're not clear, the dog doesn't understand. All of that conversation is what I'm talking about when we're talking about this sleek, polished, finished content, this edited content that isn't showing you the connective moments. So that dog in the reactivity, in the moment where the husband expected reactivity, never reacted to this dog. And it was a small prey-like little dog. And after seeing the video I shared with you, I thought I was super proud of her because she didn't react. We also had her head up so she wasn't fixating on the street. But I'm wondering now, that's a notable thing to take in. Is there, hi, how are you? I never got back to you about the IVDD. I'm sorry. It's been a crazy week. Is there a vision problem? Why didn't the dog react? Was she busy and we were in her thinking mind and she was happy and that was the reason? I don't know. Okay, so we go from this fixation on the floor. The mother gets her back involved, starts... she doesn't have pain in her neck like that. Nothing that we've been working on this for weeks. So I actually had the mother in one of our lessons. The dog just taps out. She doesn't want to do anything. Lay down and I said, put your hands on the dog and I want you to handle her body this way. And you could see the dog's body reverb like this right in the middle of her back. So we've been doing lots of fascia work, manipulation, but all of the training has been around stabilizing her body and getting her to feel confident and happy when she's in the household with this baby. We need to change her state of mind. So yeah, but I think that everybody's become, this is what happens. Everybody's become so programmed for not like, how do you not look for pain? And you've got to look for pain and it's always an underlying thing and it's got the potential to be this, this, and this, and behavior comes from pain and okay. But what's happened is everybody is copying and pasting. It's this on this dog, it must be this and this dog, and that's where it falls apart. Okay, so the dog now goes to the other side of the room. I don't know if you noticed, but there's a treat on the floor a foot from her. She does not see it. She's scanning, does not see it. Mother gives her a little to come back. I think that's the clicking that you were hearing. The dog turns around, and did you notice, you might not have, so I have everybody film everything for me because I need to get to know the dog since it's virtual work through the videos. That camera taking the video was not on a tripod. It could be early signs of dementia. I'm actually like that is one of my thoughts as well. But this was such an interesting point in the video. And this is where everybody said the dog is lazy or the dog isn't obeying, or, not everybody, but a lot of people were so ready to blame the dog for not obeying, or not, the positions aren't clear and the markers aren't clear and all that nonsense. The dog turns around. The camera, when she finally starts moving, you can see it's being held by a human being. It's not fixed. It's not set up somewhere. It's not on a tripod. Yeah, so yes, a lot of you did notice that there was a person. But what you didn't put together, or maybe you did and I didn't catch it, was that all of it, and the mother is like, look, I have food. She's coercing her now to come with the food, right? You see her hand entering the frame. So imagine the setup of the room. The mother's at this end over here. Here's the baby playpen. The dog is over there. And there's this narrow space where the husband is sitting with the camera. And the dog looks at him and then looks at her. And she's like, oh, no. And lays down. The pressure in that situation. So I don't think people think of this because it's a dog, but she's like being looked at under a microscope by both of them. No fault of their own, because they're just trying to do the right thing. He's trying to video for me and she's trying to do the exercise I gave her. But from the dog's perspective, she's supposed to perform some kind of action. She's not even clear what it is. And everyone's staring at her. Like, are you going to do the thing? And I'm watching. And they're in this narrow little space. And she just is like, the pressure's too much. And she lays down. Which to me was a very tender, heartbreaking moment. Because spatial pressure, social pressure, but also here's no, of course not. But here's this is what I want you to pick up on, okay? So we all hear the buzzwords: spatial pressure, social pressure, pain, all of those words that you guys hear all the time. I want you to laser focus in on what does expectation feel like for a dog, particularly for a dog who's emotionally flattened, for a dog who's had a history of punishment in their training, like mine, for a dog who doesn't understand what's supposed to happen, or is in pain and moving slowly, or is a late learner, or doesn't hear so well, or is having trouble seeing. For all of those things, you were worried about, yes. So I know it's very tender to watch, and I really wanted to draw your eye into that, because every time you go to train your dogs, don't think for a second that they don't realize that there's some expectation of them. If someone had expectations of me all the time, I would live in a constant state of paranoia. So I really think that we have to be extremely tuned in to how many people are in the room. What's the room set up to be like? There are times that I will create spatial pressure to, well, not just Taylor. Some dogs won't care. They'll go barreling through, they don't care. But this dog needed something else. So if you're going to work in a tight space, I thought laying down was an absolutely stunning choice. Yes, you're absolutely right. She thought about it and she made a decision for what she needed to do. They brought her back in, and then, like, yes, from a technical standpoint, the mother was kind of like moving her hand forward instead of just staying in one place and letting the dog hit that spot, yes, and feed, or good girl and feed, or whatever it is. But there's another part in this training history. I don't think she was done. I think she was becoming uncomfortable, just uncomfortable. So the mom, and I love her, she is so devoted to, they're both so devoted to this dog. I believe there is cognitive decline happening. Yes. Overwhelmed, too much spotlight on her, too much in a tiny little space. She's well loved, trust me, but think of the dogs that no one's looking. Yeah, like stage fright, exactly right. But on film, in a tight little space. So the mother has a habit, and we've talked about it, and I've told her this, that because the dog, Mia is her name, because the dog, and she's so gorgeous, because the dog has become really flat, emotionally despondent, whenever she reminds me of my daughter when she was little, because she was just so enthusiastic, but whenever the dog does the thing, the mother is like, oh, good girl, good girl, good girl, good girl, and starts on the headline. Now we've really got a mess. Really adding chaos to her learning experience. Okay? So when most pet professionals that people who are on this page are definitely going to be more conscious of people who have timing and a level of calm or neutrality, or give the dog time to process. If you start squealing or inserting your hands in their face, especially if it's a dog who's visually sensitive, you've just turned this simple little thing like, can you come into this position and eat from my hand? And baby talk, right. And that was it. And that's all I wanted. Now go away, and it's up to you to come back. Do you want to come back? Instead of that, you figured it out. You did the thing. And now there's this big, like, I would not return either. It feels unhinged. Now, believe me when I tell you, I'm not making fun of the owner. She's amazing. She's so happy to see her dog participate that it's like this huge milestone just for her to do it. But that isn't the dog's experience. Yes, I know, it drives me to an anxiety response when I watch it, but she stopped doing it, she didn't do it in the video that I shared with you yesterday, so she's really trying. I mean, she's a brand new mother with an infant, right? So there's only so much that I expect her to wrap her head around, which is why I was disappointed to see so many people saying, you know, how much the human did wrong. And I got to turn on my little light. Hold on, because it's getting dark in here. Oh, that's really bright. Okay. The lighting in my room is horrendous, so just bear with me. Hi. Do they send videos of her filming the husband doing the exercises? The husband doesn't do, I only have one person in the household do the exercises, because if you assign the exercises to two people, look how far off the beaten path it goes with one person. With two people, you run the risk not only of both of them that's really bright. I feel like I'm like on Broadway or something. No, that's okay. You run the risk of two people making a lot of mistakes, which not for nothing doubles my workload, having to respond and fix all of that, but also confusing the dog. That's the most important part. Mom does it this way, dad does it this way. What is the exercise actually? So you see how hard it is to get a pedestrian to have good timing. Did they practice the movement without the dog? Yes, great question. Always ask them to get that, the patterning of it before they bring the dog into the mix. But in this case, we couldn't even get the dog to participate. So you see how there's joy sort of perks up about chasing the food, but the second it becomes this tight, I'm not sure what you want from me, and the pressure of both of them staring at her and trying to lure her in, it just falls apart. So to me, it was extremely telling. And I thought it was really interesting that that's not what everybody noticed right away, because it's what I saw first. And I thought it was really important, but I'm used to evaluating dog behavior that way. So I think Yeah, we the technical stuff wasn't quite right, and she wasn't well timed and all of that stuff. She's not a professional, but I want you to remember to look at the whole picture and not just what is the dog doing wrong so we can fix its behavior. Because in this case, the dog didn't do anything. Hi, how are you? You're coming in just now. You missed all the good stuff. This was not about the dog not doing something right or building precision. This was how I'm going to upload it to YT. So you'll be able to watch. I have to be so careful now and I don't get myself shut down again. This was really about what's happening in its entirety in this room right now that is causing the dog to have so much trepidation about just walking around with her family. I think that's super important. Don't you guys like, do you understand what I'm saying? You have to go back and watch the video and I promise you that you won't unsee it now. Do you know? So this is what we do in the case studies group. We go through much more complex cases. This one is a lightweight, aside from the fact that the dog is emotionally has despair because of the new baby in the house. But thank you, Denise. But when I present these cases to everybody, I send them the case notes as I get them before I meet the person, before I know the dog. And I know the comments had me baffled too. And also on the other platform, very critical, very, very critical of the dog. But I have to say that it really felt to me like everybody, and again, it's not that any of you were wrong. You were all right. There was pain. There may be some start of dementia. There may be some sundowning. But what I'm trying to say, and maybe I'm not doing it very well, is that it feels to me like everybody, well, I think I gave some of that background, but it does, yeah, I couldn't do it. It's an entire, I'm already getting accused of talking too much if I give you an intro for 60 seconds. So I'm limiting myself. But everybody's putting the dogs in boxes that they think of. Okay, Jerry, you have to go. We're not doing that on this page. Sorry, bud. Okay, sorry. The pain basket, the sundowning basket, she told you everything you needed to know. What, the accusation that I talk too much? That's somebody that follows me. It was very funny. I mean, what they don't realize is that it's just easier for me to put them on blast and let them deal with the fallout rather than get down in the dirt with it. But yeah, it's interesting. How would you have any context? That wouldn't be a fair game to play with you. Okay, figure this one out. I have no idea what's going on. But if I didn't give you enough, I'm sorry. Now, the video recap that I made to go through this bullet point by bullet point, it's 5 minutes long. I mean, if I chop it up, it's not thorough, and then I'm not giving you enough information. And if I go on too long, nobody wants to watch it because it's too long. So it's difficult for me to be able to be that thorough on a platform where everyone wants to swipe quickly and get to the next dopamine hit. But I can't do it any other way. So I figured we would just talk about it together in a live. And, you know, I'll answer whatever questions you have, or we can continue to do it intermittently in my videos so you can watch them and see what, I promise you, once you start to look at them differently, it's going to inform the way you see dog behavior. You know, it just, and that's my only hope. Well, I don't know that the algorithm pushes them out, and you may not just never get to. Thank you, Tracy. Well, I will upload this for anyone who missed the beginning, and I will upload the recap and give you a play-by-play for those of you that are interested, and you can watch. Hi, how are you? I'll I'll show you the clip that I want you to look at, and then I'll talk about it. And it just kind of goes through it like that. And it gives all the background that I gave tonight. But I wanted you to at least have a chance to hear it from me in a real conversation. And also to tell you how much I appreciate you. I'm okay. I'm hanging in there. How much I appreciate you trying. I mean, I don't know if I would just like, oh, I'm going to say this. What if that's wrong? And then the whole world sees the wrong answer. So I just really appreciate the people that participate in this page and are so willing to engage and have these conversations. I don't take that for granted. So just know that I think you guys are rock stars. Does anybody have questions about all of that? You liked having the, I'm really glad. You missed the 2 case studies. I don't know which person goes with the handle K3. Those do not get recorded. Nope. I'm a reactivity and aggression specialist. Can I keep you updated? I can. Also, some of you were asking, always watch videos without the sound. Then I'm like, yeah. I'm really glad. Yeah. What was I going to say? I was going to say something. I don't remember what it was. Oh, some of you were asking me about the little bulldog that we had talked about in one of the lives. I want to say 2 or 3 weeks ago when the owner was in the chat. There's a little bulldog who was rescued and has all sorts of, he's a baby. He's a baby. He's like a year old. Yes, if you're on the email list and you have not responded for the last 2, you may have been removed. So you better message me and tell me because we are, I'm going to talk about it. It's good news. Thank you. We're going to, we're going to take, we've been taking people off the email list because it's a very long list to email people. If we don't get responses twice, then we've been removing it. So if you want to be on it, make sure I know that you're still there and just send your email again. And but they're on Sunday nights. That's when they're going to be. That's okay. No, I'm not taking, you've been there. So you've been there. I'm talking about people who have never joined and we're still sending, because it's not just the initial email, it's all the case notes. And this last time I sent out videos. So it's several emails to a larger group of people becomes just a lot. Well, it's not every week. We send out emails. If you want to be on the list for the case studies group, you have to DM me your full name and email. And then we put you on the master list for that. And we email you in advance to let you know when it's going to be. So let's talk about what's coming up next, because I'm going to say it to you person to person. Yeah, I'm not doing it it won't be this weekend because I'm traveling. And then I don't know if I'll do it next weekend or the weekend after, simply because even though it's a very inexpensive class, I'm sensitive to those of you who this is extra money for, right? And I don't want to do it bi-monthly because I don't know if that's affordable for you. So it feels like you can tell me, you can say, I'll do it twice a month or I'll do it every 3 weeks. Just communicate with me. But the next one we're going to do, it doesn't cost money to be on the list. The class is $35. It's 2 hours and it is deep. And everybody is incredible in the group. They're just incredible. I love this group of people. They're really thoughtful and they're so excited to learn. So once a month is good. That's what I think too. So, and I'm dealing with all this family stuff now, so that's probably better. But the next live we're going to do, the last one was a puppy with a very interesting medical condition. And the group really did well sort of working through that. It was very interesting. The more case studies they do, the more profound they become. But the next one's going to be on death. We're going to talk about death. One of the people in the group, I can't remember if you're here tonight or not, but one of the people in the group, I asked everybody what kind of cases they want to talk about. Do they want to talk about, severe aggression? Do they want to talk about resource guarding? Do they want to talk about puppies, shelter dogs? Do they want to talk about pet dogs? Because I have lists and lists of cases that I can introduce to you, but I want to do what you're most interested in. And the consensus seemed to be that they wanted to talk about a dog who didn't succeed. So that is what I think we're going to do, because it's a really important conversation. And when that happens, I am determined to be as potent a support system for the end as I am for the beginning and all the stages leading up. And I try to help everybody do that with really dignity. I love jumpy, mouthy dogs who leave marks. They're my favorite. I had that when he first came here. Now he's learning to use his brain, which is nice. But that's what we'll talk about. So if you want to, don't give me your name to be on the list if you don't really plan to come, because we're a small operation. And that's how that rolls. But the bulldog, let me just recap for you briefly. The bulldog was adopted by a young woman in Florida who had another dog. The dog is a baby. It looks like a micro pig. I shared the dog in a video. It's this big. Backyard bred, terrible genetics, and very reactive, aggressive to people coming into the home, landed several bites. So they hired a trainer. Dog is this big, right? This big. Alpha rolled the dog. Slammed it down on the floor. Alpha rolled it. Subsequently, the dog developed spinal pain. So that's kind of where we left off. Yeah. And this is a trainer who calls himself Force Free. Alpha rolled a dog this big, while the parents stood there in horror and then terrible guilt because they didn't know what was coming. All he said was something like, "You're not going to like it." I don't remember, something like this, but it's got to happen. You know what I mean? Like, wow. Okay. But she wasn't sending me videos and she wasn't keeping up with the work and the program. And I just said, let's take a break. You seem to be preoccupied. I know the husband was traveling and she had both dogs and her job and everything. And she was very upset. She said, "I don't want to stop. I'm not ready to stop." I said, "But nothing's happening. I'm not seeing anything. I can't help you if we're not actually doing the work. I'm not throwing you out. I'm just saying take a break until your life settles down." And are you okay over there? What is happening? It's so loud. She texted me yesterday and said that she's absolutely thrilled. Her husband was offered a phenomenal job and they are moving to Pennsylvania. They hated Florida, and that the dog has been incredible and dealing with all sorts of change in the home environment and all of this other stuff, and that he's thriving. So I'm really, really happy. So that was that dog. And then there are several others that I think are worth talking about, but thank you for the follow. But we'll get into some of those cases. But when I get videos like the one I shared with you yesterday, and I feel like there's this really important message to share, I'll tell you about it. But you can recap this live and the documentary on the case that we've talked about through my YT. It's in the link tree. Probably can't say that either. But anyway, for those of you who have spent some time with me and are becoming very good at assessing, I'm super impressed. Can we have a wahoo? Oh, yes, Luke's lump is benign. Massive wahoo. Wow, yes, that, I gotta tell you something. I don't think that I could have handled that not being good news. Just saying, I could not have handled that not being good news. I'm extremely happy. Yes, it's enormous. I will say that he has had the most horrendous, like frighteningly horrendous diarrhea since anesthesia. So he's now on a very expensive probiotic paste and pills for 1 month. It's sort of helped, but yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with him, but he definitely has quite a bit of pain in his body, and I've got to address that next. For anybody who is just coming in, I don't want to give, kefir is okay, but I'm keeping his diet really simple right now. He's eating oatmeal, and bland foods because everything's been going right through him. So if I'm not trying to say this to you 100 times, but as if pumpkin, yeah, he has sweet potato. I make him mashed sweet potato. As I mentioned in the beginning of this, I'm going to see my brother tomorrow for the last time. And I'm anticipating that I'm going to be struggling for a little bit of time after that. So I felt badly putting that video up and not being able to immediately respond. My plan was supposed to be to go see him on Sunday. And I called his wife day before yesterday and I said, how's everything going? I'm planning on coming Sunday. And she said, you better get here sooner than that. So I'm going tomorrow with Luke, and they're in New York, in White Plains. And so I didn't want to plan anything too major, but also I didn't mean to like put that video out and get everybody really interested in it and then tap out because I wasn't the timing. It just changed suddenly. So just know that if there's any inconsistency from me, that is why. And that is why I have no patience for anyone giving me a hard time right now, because we are really trying to show up and be as present as possible in the light of some pretty horrific stuff. So I'm trying to be kind to myself. I'm just extremely upset. No, I know that. But if you, for the lack of a better expression, if you dangle something in front of people and they're really interested and they get really involved and then you bail and you don't follow through with, well, here's what I was trying to tell you and this is what I want you to see. That's not cool. I'd be pissed if I were watching someone's content like that. So I just wanted to give you a little context so that you know that I'm not trying to be a dick about it. I'm just a little overwhelmed. People shouldn't, but they don't know me. There were a lot of new followers from that video and they don't know me, so I don't expect them to understand what goes on here. Separately, I think I mentioned to you that I have been working behind the scenes to try to get Maya back, and I'm not having much success. And I'm really aggravated at the politics of this entire situation. And when I tell you that politics and shelter life are really disgusting, I mean it. So there is going to be a demonstration on, I can't remember what she said, end of March, beginning of April, because the shelter is not open to the public, so no one's allowed to see the dogs. And I cannot begin to tell you what this shelter environment is like. It is a prison. Dark kennels, rows of dogs facing each other, no windows, no light. I mean, there may be little block windows, but it's dark and it's dank and it's moist and it's dreary. No one has, the people that have jurisdiction are all in bed together and you cannot break through it. So I reached out to someone who was advocating on behalf of those dogs. And I said, look, I cannot take Maya until my father passes away. But I have had 2 contractors to this house to try to arrange how the space could work for her and for Luke. And she does not like me. She does not like anybody, but she can live here and, live out her life here. And she will try to kill me on the daily, but I can't bear the idea of her not living her life there. What I was not told was that all the dogs in the shelter are on trazodone. And so Maya was sent to me after being on trazodone for 2 years, came off of it and went cold turkey in my house, and no one ever told me. Which now leaves me with this big question mark of, was she a neuro dog? Or was she withdrawing from trazodone? I'm reminding you that if you adopt a shelter dog, you must get full transparency and medical records of whatever they've been giving them, because the shelters medicate their dogs to keep them from being crazy. Okay? I say this to you all the time, and I somehow did not know. And I was friendly with the head of the behavior team, who was there like twice a month, but still, I had a point of contact. Somebody should have told me, and they didn't. So the withdrawal after 2 years on sedatives, can you imagine? Sorry. So I had reached out to this person, and yes, berserk, and you never give trazodone to a dog with a bite history. You didn't get well, you have to ask the questions. Has this dog been on trazodone while it's in the shelter? Because withdrawal from that medication it can be really tough. So I reached out and I said, I will take her. And the reason I just can't do it now. But what I'm trying to prevent is, because there's so much light being shined on the fact that these dogs are living this existence and that the public cannot see them and you can't meet them, and all you can do is fill out an adoption paper and they decide if the dogs can go to you or not. And they sent a bunch of domesticated cats to a sanctuary with only feral cats, and the cats got really, really sick. They weren't cared for. Many of them did not do well. So they're sending these animals off and making this, do they want her to find a home? So this is the conflict. Her notes say rescue, her bio on the website lists her behavior issues. She's great in the home, and she's this and she's this. She resource guards, rescue only. Well, is it a home or is it rescue only? Because she's a dangerous dog and she should not go into anybody's home unless it's someone like me. But what she shouldn't go into is a board and train, and that's what they're sending all the dogs to. Right. And I'm convinced the dog is a neuro dog, because if you look under the tab Maya above my gallery, you will witness her hiding behind the couch, staring into the corner and rocking, or in the corner in the bathroom in the dark, or turning into a lizard at night, or trying to go after me, stalking. Like, I didn't capture all of it on video, obviously, because it was nighttime and I'm getting ready for bed and these things would happen. But I was promised they would keep her on her medication when I brought her back. No, so she went on trazodone for 2 years and then was pulled off of that suddenly. She was on seizure meds and was pulled off of that without weaning her off whatsoever. So it is a horror show there. So I reached out, and my only agenda was, please put me in touch with anybody who will listen. Now, this consultant who's working with the shelter and trying to get the dogs out of there safely has a connection to the attorney for the town. That's her primary point of contact, as I understand it. And I said, you must position this carefully. Has anybody been given my eval? No one has seen it. 5 pages of notes. No one has seen it. No one's looked at her videos. There's documentation of everything. Nobody has seen it. I said, all I want you to do is get me into a conversation so I can at least take them through bullet point by bullet point, the medical issues, the behavioral issues, which, by the way, she's had since she was a puppy, returned by her family twice for the same thing. That tells you something. She's lived in this black box for almost 3 years now. Please get me a conversation so at the very least, if they're going to place her somewhere, they don't put her in a crate with someone who's going to put an e-collar on her and think that she needs to learn to do a downstay or a leave it because she'll be perfect. She's very smart. We trained all the time. That's not the problem. The dog turns into a demon at night. That's the problem. And if you put her in a cage, you'll never see it because it's not real life. And I'm afraid for her. So they sent my letter with some of the bullet points that I wanted to make. And the town responded immediately, wanting to know if I was a 501(c)(3) rescue. I'm not a rescue. They thought that I would take her right now. So in a way, I sort of got screwed through this because I lost momentum, because they probably would have given her to me, but I obviously cannot take her right now. All I was trying to do yes, I will take her, but I don't think I'll ever be able to, because they're going to send her, they're fundraising with a vengeance right now to send her to a board and train. And the problem is, once she goes to a board and train, we will never know what happens to her. She won't be available for adoption. Oh yeah, that's why I'm freaking out about it. Once she leaves that property, because they've already sent several dogs. Yes, that's what they're going to do. They sent one dog to a guy out here who's a prong collar, e-collar guy, and he has a horrible reputation. And once she leaves there, she's gone forever. And I will never be able to get her back. And God knows what's going to happen to her. And I already know what's happened to some of the other dogs. So I'm angry because the conversation was fumbled and misrepresented, and that just makes it seem weak. Like, I'll take her. No, I can't. That's not what I was doing. I will take her. I just can't take her yet. I reached out to Sage's Way or Outward Bound, whatever that, never heard back. I thought maybe we could fundraise to get her with that person who seems like a really credible and skilled handler to take her until I can take her. But can a rescue pull her? I can't take her until my dad passes away, because I have to be with him. That's the reason I had to return her. She tried to attack the person that would take her on the weekends I had to travel, and that was the behavior person from the shelter. And they did have a personality conflict, but Maya repeatedly tried to attack her, and she wouldn't take her anymore. And I had no place to leave her when I was traveling to see my dad, who's been in and out of nursing homes and had surgeries, and he's 94. So it's not going to be forever, but it's not today. So if a rescue pulls her for me, I can't bring her to my dad's. He lives on the 22nd floor of an apartment building full of dogs, and she's not safe. She needs a very controlled sanctuary type environment, and that I can provide, but not today. But she's going to disappear into the ether, and I don't know what else to do. I don't know what else to do. If I had someone who could pull her until I could take her, believe me, I would help them every step of the way. But I don't think anybody, listen, you know what? Her volunteer, and this is, I've talked to you about this before, maybe you haven't heard this, but the volunteers are the ones who are really the problem, because they are the type of volunteer population that thinks that they know the dogs better than anybody else does. And they loved me up one side and down another when I took her and she was doing so well. And then when she had to go back for the reasons mentioned, I was the worst. I didn't do it right. I made so many mistakes. The dog, she was here for 2 months successfully. But they believe that their 15 minutes with the dogs 3 times a week, they know them best. And none of them should be euthanized. And some of them are quite dangerous. So you can't break, and they're attached to the director. So it's this like wall of people you can't break through, and that's it. The politics are, I don't know what else to do. I don't know what else to do, but I'm absolutely heartbroken about it. Because I'm afraid someone's going to hurt her. That's my concern. They'll come on really strong, or try to train her with a lot of force. And a dog who has seizures should not be on an e-collar. I know, I feel the same way. I feel the same way. But this one I'm attached to, you know what I mean? Like, she scares me, I'm not gonna lie. She's a scary little beast. But I like her. You know, she has no interest in humanity. She's feral, emotionally feral. That I would say that she is one. She may be the only dog I've actually ever worked with who was, I think she's beyond help because of the trauma. I don't think the resource guarding is the problem. I think the abandonment and living in a black box for 3 years definitely has broken her brain. And this consultant said to me, why do you want her? I said, because I care about her. Okay, good to see you. But that's where we are. So, you know, I know a lot of you care about her, but I don't have anything else I can tell you. And I'm extremely frustrated by the politics of all of this. And yet, there were a few... Oh, she did connect to me. When the merry-go-round in her brain hit the right spot, she was able. But at night, she became a beast. But as time went by... She is living with hell in her mind. She should be euthanized. There's no question about it. None. She's not a safe animal to be in anyone's home. I mean, can you imagine if she went to someone's home who had lived in a studio apartment? The dog needs to hide. She needs to be in something that mimics a cage. That's why she was always seeking out, hi, Lucasite. That's why she was always seeking out, you know, like the bathroom or spaces that were dark in my home because, sorry, hold on, you guys. Because that looked like her cage, and that's what she was accustomed to. That's all she knew. His ear is so much better. He's healing. See? You gonna let me show? No. You don't want me to? Okay. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I hate dragging him to New York City. There's glass all over the streets, but he's got to go. He says hi. He says hi, hi, hi. Right? He's such a big schmoo. He's so much better mentally, you know what I mean? Like when he first came here, he looks good, right? Look at this floof. He was so concerned about making a mistake or doing the wrong thing. And once he realized that nothing was going to happen to him if he did, he really has become a very smart little monster. I love him. I'll share this live on my YT. And if I don't do it tonight, it's because I'm traveling this weekend. I don't think I'll have the bandwidth to do it tonight because I'm exhausted. Yeah, either that or his bone was done. I'm not sure it was me. Yes, I've been trying to upload them there. He's wonderful. He's a really special dog. He's just... And he was on the youth list, so he got lucky, didn't you? What? Look at his face. He's so cute. Except that he's eating a lot of bunny poop. I will. I'll take care of myself. I'm going to go let the dog out, and I'm going to go to bed early tonight because we have been getting up at the crack of dawn and climbing hills because I'm on a fitness regimen. He's a beauty, yeah. He's a purebred Malinois, Belgian Mal, which I've never had before, but I'm absolutely loving it. He is I take him into the hospitals. He goes to the nursing home. Everybody pets him. Sometimes he vanishes and looks for food in people's rooms, which is always a good time. But he was very good and very patient while I visited with my dad. And he's just he's a very soulful dog. He understands different environments and he adjusts to them. And he kind of makes himself whatever the people around him need. It's really magical to watch. They are so smart. I know. That's so nice of you to ask. My dad's okay. He's, Medicare doesn't cover the nursing home past 3 months. And so they're sending him home in a week and a half. And he's impulsive. He went in because he broke his femur, or his femur broke and he fell. He dislocated his hip replacement. And my dad likes to have cocktails at night. And he hasn't had anything in 3 months. And he's so healthy right now. And I know the second he goes home, because my mother passed away, he self-medicates at night. And that's the problem, that if he does that, he thinks he can go from one room to another without his walker, and he falls. There was broken glass all over the floor the last time he fell. And I think he was going to get more ice for his cocktail. It's all he has. He's 94. His life partner died last year. It's really hard for him. They have a big apartment and it's empty. So he refuses to get 24-hour care help which means he'll be alone at night, and it's terrifying. So it's just going to be a matter of when the other shoe drops, you know what I mean? So I don't, like, we keep going around on this cycle. So he's good, but he's been in the hospital 6 times this year, and it's always the same thing. So I don't even know what to think anymore. How am I holding out? My son said to me the other night, I'm so blessed to have such incredible children. But when I told my son that my brother is going to be not much longer, I said I was going to visit him. My son said, let me come with you. And I said, no, because he's very sensitive. And my brother was like a surrogate father for my kids when they were little. So there's a lot of emotion there. And he said, I'm deeply concerned about your nervous system. He's right. So I think I'm holding up okay, but I've had like some chest pains of stress. Like my daughter's telling me I need to take something to relax myself so my cortisol doesn't go up. But I don't feel like I'm anxious or stressed. I'm really sad. It really feels mostly like a broken heart. My kids are awesome. Yeah. My ex-husband was very lazy, which is why I divorced him. But so I raised them myself, but they did me proud. They're wonderful children. Wonderful. And our family is just like, it's getting tiny. Very hard to imagine that there's no family, you know what I mean? So that's a struggle for me. And it shows up in moments that I'm not expecting. Yeah, I've been grieving for a long time, but I think because he was still here, we thought we were saying goodbye at Thanksgiving. I just kind of thought it's just going to go on like this. So when she said, no, it's happening now, we're at the end, I wasn't prepared for that at all. So I'll get through it, but I'm sick to my stomach over it, you know? It's a vicious disease. And no, they have not made any progress on glioblastoma in the last 20 years. Not a bit. So he has a pacemaker. And I think that the pacemaker is what's kept him alive for this long because it regulates his heart. And he's now off all the blood thinners and he's off any heart medication and they're weaning him off the seizure meds. So this is what she told me, and it's the gruesome details that are just torturous. And this isn't that gruesome or I wouldn't share it with you, but she said his wife is very stoic. She doesn't express any emotion, which is hard for me because I'm not that person. But every week I call her and she's like, he's the same, he's the same, he's the same. So the same means he really can't sit up by himself. He collapses to the side. He can't feed himself. He only can say a word or two. And the only change was that he was sleeping a bit more and not eating as much. And he's been like that since last May. But this week she said, I said, the decline is happening. And she said, yes. I said, what does it look like? And she said, whenever he's like alert or his eyes pop open in the middle of the night and he's, oh, I'm really sorry. Yeah, the suffering gets me. But she said there's some agitation starting. When my mom passed in September, she was trying to punch everybody, like who was trying to clean her or tend to her. So when she said agitation, I thought it was that, like throwing punches or get off of me or delusional, delirious. But she said, no, he's very gentle. It's not that. I mean, he's like 140 pounds and he's 6'3". He's emaciated. She said it's more that he can't sleep and his eyes keep popping open. And she said he's got a really bad cough and his body isn't strong enough to cough it up. And so it's like he's stuck in this, it's awful. It's awful. It needs to be over. I guess I just hope that it would just happen in his sleep and we wouldn't have to, watch him go through this. He's on hospice. He's on hospice. But I've asked her, his wife, I said, it's time for you to start giving him the meds. You know, like in the last couple of days of my mother's life, my father called me on a Thursday and said, you need to come home right now. Your mother is going to die in an hour. And I was like, what? Oh, okay. And I like stopped everything I was doing. I was like running around the house in my pajamas, packed up the dog and ran home. And she was still awake and there when I got there. But everything started to decline from there. And when she started getting super agitated, we added the morphine and we added the lorazepam and sedatives just so that she could be comfortable because breathing was hard, right? So, but she passed within 5 days. This has been going on for 15 months. And I don't want him to suffer having trouble breathing or swallowing or coughing. I mean, it's really scary. So I said, I really want you to start medicating him because we don't know what it feels like to him, like to be drowning in your own saliva. That's sort of what I think I don't know what that means technically, but I think that's what we did for my mom because I would get up every 4 hours all night, 24/7 and give it to her every 4 hours so that she just stayed asleep until she passed. I guess that's what you're talking about, right? Yeah, it was the easiest way for her to go. And the aide kept saying to me, tell her to release, tell her to go, if you tell her she'll leave. And I did. And she just didn't. When did she die? When I left. It was like, that's so typical of my mother to drive me crazy like that. But it's a technical term, the morphine coma. I wonder because because they can't communicate. I don't know what he knows. Like he does have long-term memory. So if I tell him a story about something that happened when we were kids, he starts laughing. He remembers. But everybody's coming to say goodbye, and it's not euthanasia, although you have to, apparently, if you want euthanasia to be an option, you have to write that out clearly while you're lucid. His wife tried to facilitate that, and they said he's not a year ago, and they said he's not in any condition to make a decision. So unless you attend to all of that up front, and who thinks that that's going to happen to them? So that's why they're stuck in this situation. But I don't know. Like when the doctors would ask him to count to 10, my brother's indignant. So, he'd get irritated. So he'd go 1, 2, 7. Like he felt like he was doing it on purpose. It felt like he was pissed and he didn't want to play along. So I don't know how much he knows. And then all of these people are coming and saying goodbye. Is he like in there like, leave me alone, I don't want to do this? Or is that the wrong thing to do? I just don't know. What am I going to say to him? I mean, what I want to say to him is please don't leave, but that's going to happen. So how are you sensitive? He can't speak. He speaks with his eyes. He's completely paralyzed. So, I mean, he can laugh and he can look around, but you have to hold the water for him. I mean, he can't hold anything. He's been wheelchair bound. He's in a Hoyer lift. Like they have to hoist him up from place to place. He has no ability to do anything. He can't even go to the bathroom on his own. I'm going to assume that he just understands, but it just feels so contrived to say goodbye. He can't communicate. I mean, he could, but his cognition is like a 2-year-old in a lot of ways. You know what I mean? His wife said that we should tell him that we're all going to be okay. Thank you. Thank you. And that'll make him feel better, but I don't believe it. Don't worry, we'll be fine. We're not the ones who are leaving. I don't know. Like, it's like I've never been through this before. This is a whole new ballgame. So I'm just going to hope that the words come when I get there. But I'm most worried that I'm going to fall apart in front of everybody, and I don't want to do that. I want to be the cool sister that can hold it together, but I don't think that's going to happen, clearly. I can't even talk about it. That's a good idea. I will. I tried to do that with my mom, and she refused to go because she was so difficult. I tried. I don't think that's, I don't know. It could be days, it could be a couple of weeks, but it's coming. Yeah, I will. I think that's a good idea, retelling old stories. That's what makes him smile whenever I see him. If I bring him pictures or, tell him stories about when we were little. I was his protector. He's 5 years younger than me. He's my little baby brother. And he's always been there for me. And it's tough. He'd know I'm faking it. Yes, it's true. Anyway, I'm so sorry to be so depressing. I can't believe that I ended up going down this road, but that's what I was trying to tell the people that I'm communicating with Maya. They're like, why are you doing this now? I don't even want to bother you with it because of everything that's going on. But like, I can't not care about it just because it's inconvenient, So I figure if everybody in the family goes, I might as well take on a dog that hates me. Big love does create much pain, and you know what's going to happen, don't you? Let's play a game. You know when he's going to pass? Oh, thank you. He is going to pass on the day Jude died. Mark my words, which is coming up in a couple of weeks. So it'll be a double whammy. I'm absolutely convinced that is what's going to happen. So I'm like struggling with all of the, how your feed sends you memories or videos that what happened last year at this. I'm like, just stop. I don't want to know. I cannot believe it's been a year since I lost that boy. But yeah, so that's where we are. But I appreciate you being here and talking it through with me because it wasn't what I intended to discuss tonight. It's tomorrow, so it's on my mind. But you're all just very supportive and generous, and I really appreciate it. Thank you. Hugs back. But okay, I'm going to go. I'm getting a headache from crying. My nose is stuffy. Always. We just talk about all of this. Yeah, I am grieving already. I'm a big coward. I don't want to do it. It's so nice. It really is. I'm just very grateful for everybody here. I don't know what the anger is about because I feel like it's such a nice place. What's everybody so mad about? But I'll catch up with you all next week. And thank you again. Okay, I'll say good night now, and we will speak soon. Have a good night, everybody.